Improving Ohio's state parks and wildlife areas. Ahead on Face the State. Our state parks are places of natural beauty, places to relax, recreate, and reflect. The state is now working to make them even better. ODNR Director Mary Mertz joins me to look at what's being done to improve them for the millions of visitors and protect them. Also responding to the VP, Vice President J.D. Vance named Columbus as one Ohio city where people may not feel safe to go downtown to get a meal because of lawlessness. The city pushed back, and we asked people downtown if they feel safe. Hear what they have to say. Plus, it's a great time to go shopping for just about anything you need. The Ohio sales tax holiday is underway. What you can buy tax-free for the next few weeks. Face the State starts now. Thanks for joining us for Face the State. I'm Doug Petcash. On its website, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources says its mission is to ensure a balance between the wise use and protection of our natural resources for the benefit of all. The most visible and visited aspect of the ODNR is Ohio's 76 state parks, Great Council State Park being the newest one, dedicated just last year. And it's fitting because the state park system is now officially 76 years old. Are you one of the millions who enjoy the parks every year for swimming, hiking, boating, camping, bird watching, and so many other fun outdoor activities?
And boy, are the parks popular. In 2024, the state parks had a record-breaking 1.1 million overnight stays in campgrounds, cabins, and lodges. Those visitors spent more than $392 million on retail, food, entertainment, lodging, and transportation. And the state is working to make our parks better and more accessible. Right now, ODNR is focusing on building and opening new visitor centers, welcome centers, and nature centers. They consider them hubs for people to begin their journeys. At least 9 have opened recently or will open soon in places including Salt Fork State Park, Put-in Bay, Mohican State Park, and Clifton Gorge Nature Preserve. The state is also focusing on conservation with nearly 200 wetland restoration projects covering 19,000 acres of water purifying ground and an effort to restore Ohio's eagle population. It also comes at a time when the state has approved oil and gas drilling under Salt Fork State Park and 2 wildlife areas. So, what is the state doing to protect those areas from any environmental harm?
And of course, we have to mention that admission to the state parks is free. Here to talk about it all is Ohio Department of Natural Resources Director Mary Mertz. Director Mertz, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Excited to share some information about our
I'm
parks.
so glad to have you here. So, talked about the mission of the ODNR. How do you view it?
So, Ohio has amazing, beautiful outdoor places, and we want to connect people with those places so they understand them, appreciate them, and they become part of our mission of protecting them. So, we're excited to get people outside.
So why is there so much focus right now on opening like the welcome centers, the visitor centers, the nature centers? There are a lot of projects that haven't just wrapped up or are still ongoing.
Yeah, so we are blessed, I think. Governor DeWine is committed and stands behind the state park system. He thinks it's one of the most important ways we can provide affordable, cost-free, fun, interesting, educating times for kids across the state. So he's been a big supporter, and the General Assembly has been very supportive in our capital bills. And so all of that is coming to fruition right now. And we are able to open a number of visitor centers and welcome centers across the state to help people feel welcome in our state parks and know what to do when they get there.
And I was talking with your communications director the other day, and he said it's an idea that those new welcome centers, the visitor centers, are hubs where people can begin their journey in exploring these areas. Is that the way you see it?
Absolutely. We have these beautiful places, but to make them accessible, there's a lot of things we need to do. We want people to feel welcome. We want them to arrive and be able to drive in on a decent road and find a parking space and go in these visitor centers to learn what they can do while they're there. Where are the hiking trails? Where are the beaches? What can they do safely? Make them feel a little bit more comfortable so they can touch that adventurous streak that everybody has.
What do you think is driving the increasing visitorship?
I think, well, first of all, COVID a few years ago was really an opportunity to introduce a lot of people to the great outdoors that hadn't been there before. And so a lot of people discovered it, and now they keep coming back. I also think, an understanding as price increases for a lot of things occur across the board, our parks remain free. So you can bring an entire family, or you can just come yourself and have a really affordable, outstanding time.
See a lot of people in shelters or along the trails just having a little lunch that they brought along with them too.
Absolutely.
I understand you're also working to improve accessibility in the parks, whether that's accessibility to trails, kayaking launches, playgrounds.
Right. So, accessibility means a lot of different things. We need accessibility for the entire population to get to and appreciate our parks, but also for people of different abilities. So we have put a big investment, and we actually have a map which will show you all of the accessible trails and accessible playgrounds. We just opened a couple of playgrounds that I'm really proud of. So we partnered with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were our primary donor for a beautiful, inclusive playground just north of town here up at Delaware Lake State Park. So that's a fantastic place. And then down near Athens, we just opened a beautiful, inclusive playground and accessible kayak launch at Stroud's Run State Park. And that was also done with private donations. So they're fantastic places that everybody can enjoy.
I know that one of your other pillars of focus for the ODNR is in conservation. And one of the most visible things is the bald eagles. We're seeing the population, I believe, increasing with those. Can you tell us about the efforts the state is undertaking to boost up the eagle population?
Absolutely. So back in the 70s, our records show that there were only 4 nesting pairs in Ohio. And ever since then, there have been very targeted and focused conservation efforts working with lots of partners around the state to bring that population back through a variety of measures, including some reintroduction efforts, some changes in practices. And so this year, what our census showed is 964 nesting pairs. That's dramatic. And
From
I
4 to 964?
4 to 964. And I think what it shows is when you focus and you try to employ conservation techniques, they work.
And is it just like, setting aside areas, like keeping them a little bit off limits so that the birds feel comfortable to nest there? And what is actually being done?
So a couple of things. One was no longer the use of DEET on a broad level. So that made a significant difference right off the bat. But it is conservation, having the habitat. And so Ohio is a place that doesn't have a lot of public land, but we have. We make good use of every acre of public land that we have. So having those habitat areas is also key. So a lot of these eagles you'll find along our waterways, along Lake Erie, along the Ohio River, along any of our rivers and streams is where you're going to find them. So protecting that habitat
There's a very
key.
Popular pair of nesting eagles
Yeah.
right outside the station on Riverside that people are out there taking pictures of every day. It's good to see them flying around and actually getting a chance to see them in the wild. The ODNR's role in H2 Ohio is also important in terms of conservation efforts in creating wetlands.
Right.
About 19,000 acres so far. Might not sound like a lot, but it's growing.
It is growing, and I think what is important about these wetlands, so it's a way to use natural infrastructure that's going to last for a long, long time to clean up our water, right? And it is way more cost effective than expensive water treatment plants and other more intrusive methods that can be used, because not only is it very cost effective in cleaning up water, it also has the collateral benefit of being a great recreational space, a great habitat space, and so we will continue working at it. We have big plans for this year. Hope it makes a difference.
Well, speaking of environmental issues, one controversial thing that has happened near and around state parks is that the State Oil and Gas Land Management Commission did approve drilling under Salt Lake State Park, or Salt Fork State Park, excuse me, as well as some wildlife areas. What is the status of that right now? Is the drilling underway in those areas?
Yeah, it is proceeding. So you're right. The only state park where drilling has occurred is Salt Fork, and the drilling and hydraulic fracturing is occurring now. And my expectation is they may begin producing oil in the next couple of months, but that's up to the company that has the lease. But so that drilling and fracturing has occurred. In a half a dozen wildlife areas, there are also leases, and one of those is already in production. So it's happening. We are employing all the things that we would regularly employ across the state to make sure that the operations are safe, that they are environmentally cognizant, that they are following all the rules and laws. And in fact, that's taken place. Where this occurs in our wildlife areas and state parks, we've put in some extra provisions that the energy companies have agreed to.
Such as?
Water quality testing, additional water quality testing, additional inspections, some limitations on sound and noise, a few limitations on when they operate so as to accommodate our visitors. We don't want to ruin their stays.
Yeah.
So, and they've been really agreeable and cooperative, and I'm hoping that going forward, this is a great partnership that benefits everyone.
Yeah, and none of the drilling pads are actually in state parks or wildlife areas, right? They're on the
Correct.
Outskirts of the boundaries.
Yes.
And they drill down and then horizontally way under things. But people have concerns about what, possibly leaking into the lakes or up into those wildlife or wetland areas. Have you seen any impacts on those since the drilling has started?
We have not. And in fact, I think we have a really good safety record across the entire state, whether it's under a park or not. It's very rare that there's an instance where there's a problem. But I can tell you, as far as all those state land leases, we haven't seen any problems yet. And you're right, they're drilling thousands of feet underground. And so, we have a lot of experts in our oil and gas division, engineers and geologists who have a really crisp understanding of what is under the crust of the earth. And so we are operating as safely as possible.
So what does the state get out of this? What is the ODNR? I understand there's like a $60 million bonus to the state plus some royalties, right? Does that benefit ODNR?
So I can tell you in this last state budget, that bonus was allocated to the Department of Natural Resources Division of Parks for use in their regular operating budget. So it will be used just for regular operations. It did not expand our capacity to do anything. It kept us at a level funding stream, and so but it does allow us to continue operating and serving Ohioans.
So going forward now, as we wrap this up, and what is the focus of ODNR in terms of the state parks and maybe the new initiatives going forward?
Yeah.
What are you looking at for down the road?
Yeah, so I am really excited. Like I told you, this year a lot of our infrastructure projects will come to fruition. So next week up at South Bass Island, we reopen a historic fish hatchery that the public will get to visit and learn about the history of fish stocking and maybe try a little fishing off the pier. The following week, we open a welcome center up at Mohican State Park. A lot of people are familiar with that park, very popular. And it's just a great welcome center where people can go and learn and understand. But we're also going to open welcome centers at Lake Loramie and up at the Portage Lakes on the beach there. It's really going to be fantastic. Out at Appalachian Hills, we will open a welcome center this fall. It'll be really exciting. We plan to have bison there. So we've already fenced in the area and we're working with the Wilds. So the Columbus Zoo and the Wilds are a critical partner for us. We are proud to partner with such a quality organization, and we're great partners. So they're helping us with that. And I think people are going to learn a lot about Eastern Ohio, which really should be a destination for people who want to get outdoors.
ODNR Director Mary Mertz, thank you so much for your time. I'm trying to hit as many state parks as I can. So
great.
They're beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, still ahead on Face the State. Do you feel safe in downtown Columbus? The city has responded after Vice President J.D. Vance named Columbus as a place where people may not feel safe to go downtown because of lawlessness. Hear what the mayor's office said and people on the street. And are you looking to save some money? Now is a great time to buy just about anything. Ohio's sales tax holiday is now underway. We'll tell you what you can get tax-free. Welcome back to Face the State. The city of Columbus and people who live here are reacting to comments Vice President J.D. Vance made about the safety of the city. The vice president shared his thoughts during a recent stop in Canton. The Ohio native named Columbus as one city where people may not feel safe.
How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children.
The mayor's office responded to the vice president's comments by saying crime is down in the city. We also hit the streets to see how people feel about the safety of their city. So you work down here and you spend some time down here. Do you feel safe when you're in downtown Columbus?
Yeah, I've never had an issue personally.
That's the overall sense we got from people we talked to downtown Wednesday around lunchtime. Zanaya Taylor and Blake Moore work at Gallery by CFA clothing store on High Street during the day and enjoy the restaurants and nightlife of the Short North.
Oh, I've been spending time out here since I was a teenager, since I was a young man, and yeah, I've never really felt unsafe just walking down the street.
It's a lot of fun. It's really beautiful too. Like there's a lot of art and stuff around here, so there's a lot of stuff to do too.
Mark Magno is visiting from New Jersey.
I feel super safe, and honestly, I never felt any sort of sketchiness or anything. Everyone's been welcoming.
In response to the vice president's comment, Mayor Andrew Ginther's deputy chief of staff, Jennifer Fenning, said Columbus is experiencing a more than 12-year low in homicides and felonious assault. She goes on to say that's thanks to Mayor Ginther's investments in public safety and remarkable police work by Columbus Police. The city has spent tens of millions of dollars since 2021 in an effort to end youth violence, an issue 10 TV's Kevin Landers asked the mayor about earlier this month.
Is this money really making a difference in trying
I would just take a look at the numbers, Kevin. I mean, this is the lowest amount of homicides and non-fatal shootings we've had in 13 years.
Violent crime and homicides in Columbus are way down this year. Felony assault cases are nearly half of what they were 2 years ago. The city is also seeing its lowest number of homicides on record going back to 2013. Violent incidents have happened. After a shooting in the Short North injured 10 people in June of 2024, the city added security measures in the area, including putting more officers on patrol in uniform and in plainclothes. Zanaya Taylor acknowledges there have been incidents, but feels safe partly because of the police presence.
It's a good area to come and like get a meal, hang out with friends. It's not anything too serious. And there are cops around here on a regular basis. So
Yeah, I do see a lot of police out, but yeah, I say the presence is pretty strong around here, especially in the Short North.
Of course, a couple people we talked to say they feel safer during the day than at night, but overall feel comfortable going downtown and say the people of Columbus are very friendly. Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno is once again criticizing Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell after the Fed decided Wednesday to hold its benchmark interest rate unchanged. The decision continues the Fed's wait-and-see strategy as it watches the impact of the Trump tariffs on consumer prices. CBS News reports President Trump has pressured Powell to lower rates, arguing inflation remains relatively tame. Two voting members of the Federal Open Market Committee voted in favor of lowering the interest rate, a rare show of dissent at the Fed. Senator Moreno has been an outspoken critic of Powell's, also urging him to lower rates and calling for his resignation. I asked Moreno this week about the Fed's decision to hold rates steady.
It's outrageous. Look, the numbers are the numbers. Inflation's down, lowest point in 4 or 5 years. There's no indication at all that we're going to see inflation. He has all the reasons why they should lower it. And for the first time in almost 4 decades, 2 Fed governors publicly repudiated Chairman Powell. That is totally against Fed tradition.
Senator Moreno says he prefers that Powell would resign, but believes President Trump has the legal authority to fire him. Now an update on a story we've been following. Ohio Equal Rights has decided to move forward with 2 separate constitutional amendments. The group will now have to collect more than 400,000 valid voter signatures to get each of the proposed measures on a future ballot for voters to decide. On July 9th, the Ohio Ballot Board voted 3-2 along party lines to split the group's proposal into 2 separate amendments. The original proposal would have prohibited discrimination based on race, religion, sexual orientation, disability, and a dozen other categories. The proposed amendment also called for the repeal of Ohio's constitutional ban on same-sex marriage. The Ohio Ballot Board ruled those are 2 separate topics, therefore 2 separate amendments to be put on a ballot. In a news release, executive co-chair of Ohio Equal Rights, Lise Regula, said it could take months, if not years, to appeal the decision in court. Moving forward, even though it is double the signatures and paperwork, it is the best shot we have at securing equality for every Ohioan in a timely manner. Back to school season means backpacks, binders, and this time around, Big savings. Ohio is hosting its annual sales tax holiday, which runs for a full 2 weeks this year, offering big savings on just about everything. 10 TV's Jay Plyburn breaks down where you'll find the savings.
From Friday, August 1st to Thursday, August 14th, shoppers across the state of Ohio can purchase any tangible item up to $500, including clothing, electronics, and sports gear, completely tax-free.
Doing a full 2 weeks gives people the opportunity to really take advantage of that. Sometimes it takes a few days until people it kicks in and they say, oh yeah, let's go buy what we need for school.
To our surprise, not everyone knew about the savings.
Are you familiar with tax-free holiday that's coming up?
No, I'm not.
Do you know about the tax-free holiday?
No. I do now, because you told me, but no.
Needless to say, they were excited to learn about the tax-free holiday.
Is that something you might take advantage of?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
What and specifically are you shopping for when it comes to back to school?
I would say for him, it would be like crayons, markers.
Maybe some food or back to school clothes.
Probably some calculators. I have a daughter going to college, so she will probably need like a laptop of some sort. Construction paper, anything like for arts and crafts. Some clothes, shoes. Teenage boy needs all the shoes.
To give you a better understanding of the savings, let's look at the numbers. The statewide sales tax in Ohio is 5.75%, but you get a break from that tax over the next 2 weeks. So for every $100 spent, you save $5.75. Even restaurants are in on the deal. As long as the bill is less than $500, there's no tax.
But not everything is exempt. Items over $500, like high-end gaming consoles, do not qualify. Also excluded, alcohol, tobacco, vaping products, and anything containing marijuana.
And here are 3 things you should know to get the best deals. That $500 price cap is per item, not the total purchase. The deal works for in-store and online purchases as long as you order and pay between this time and August 14th, even if the delivery comes after the 14th. And you can combine sales, pairing the tax-free holiday with retail clearance items and coupons to stretch your dollar even further. Still ahead on Face the State, 2 powerful women sharing the power of the written word. Why Ohio First Lady Fran DeWine and Second Lady of the United States Usha Vance cracked open a book for story time with kids at the Ohio State Fair. Reading can open a door to a whole new world. Ohio First Lady Fran DeWine teamed up with Second Lady of the United States Usha Vance to drive home that point to Ohio kids and parents at the State Fair.
Oh, we love to read.
Sarah Michelle Kigaraba brought her 4 avid reader children to story time with the First Lady of Ohio and Second Lady of the U.S.
I was a former teacher. I feel like it opens up so many doors, places you can't visit.
Second Lady Usha Vance puts it the same way.
Reading is a door. You open that door and you walk through it and you could find yourself in a different country or a different time.
Or a different garden with an insatiable insect.
Pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar.
Fascinating, these 4.
I like the part where it got fat.
He was a big, fat caterpillar.
I like when he turned into a butterfly.
Then he nibbled a hole in the cocoon, pushed his way out, and
he was a beautiful butterfly.
2 powerful women pushing the power of the written word. Mrs. Vance is holding her Second Lady Summer Reading Challenge right now. Kids in K through 8 are encouraged to read 12 books this summer to get a personalized certificate and a prize.
So the hope for this summer is that kids will pick what it is that they really love, and they'll follow that through books.
And for 6 years now, Mrs. DeWine has promoted Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Ohio. More than 400,000 Ohio kids in all 88 counties get free books in the mail every month.
If you can believe this, a child's brain is 80% developed by the time they're 3 years old. And so we don't want to lose those early years.
Kigaraba didn't lose those early years. She says all of her kids have received free books from Dolly.
Just anything you want to learn about, you can learn about it, and it just draws you in.
The Second Lady's Summer Reading Challenge runs through September 5th. She says kids who read 12 books will also be entered in a drawing for a chance to visit the White House. And for more information on how to get free books for your newborns to 5-year-olds through Dolly Parton's Imagination Library of Ohio, just go to ohioimaginationlibrary.org. That address is at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for joining me this week for Face the State. I'm Doug Petcash. I'll see you next Sunday at 11:30. Have a great day.